Yellowjackets Season 2, Episode 4. I don't know if we're going to be continuing going through every episode. The numbers aren't as well as I thought they'd be. I'll think about it. If there's something worth talking about, we will. So, let's talk about this episode. Episode 4 of the second season. And it's pretty good. Now, I think because there was so much going on in the last couple of episodes, this one feels like it's anticlimactic or it's setting up to where we're going, which is fine. It does a lot more of the Lottie character than I was expecting, taking her in two directions I didn't particularly see coming, which is kind of cool that the show this early on could still surprise me and just be like, hey, you think something's going to be the right way, it's actually going to be different than what you're expecting. That's kind of cool. I guess we could start there actually with Lottie, because both interpretations of the character, Courtney Eaton and Simone Kessel, get a lot to do. Now, I don't know if Lottie's my favorite character, but Simone Kessel is somebody I would die for because I think she's the best thing to ever exist. I do like what they did in this episode in particular. They changed a lot of stuff up for her where there's more of a question of faith in what she does. We've been led to believe pretty much since the beginning of this season and the ending of last season that Lottie has been going down this path of realization of who she is, that she is fully committed to this understanding of herself, and I see the magic of the world. I believe it. Even the end of last episode, we were kind of led to believe she's in her own, she's drinking her own Kool-Aid a little bit. And she kind of is, but we learned in this episode she's seeing a doctor and a therapist, I guess. Is it a therapist? She's taking meds. And when she's taking her meds, she is not having the visions that she has when she was in the forest or when she is off her meds, because when we saw last episode when she was seeing all the blood in the honey, now that's just something that doesn't normally happen. So she wants to get more medication. Who knows if she can. Her new therapist is kind of well, maybe you should just ride this out and see what it's trying to tell you. So she prays to the shrine again, which is kind of an interesting thing, which again leads me to think they're still in the forest where it all took place. But then Misty kind of drove to the actual town they're taking place in, and she's in the hometown, so I'm guessing it's not that far away from where they were, which makes me think it's not the forest. Either way, she could just take the stump, because in the past timeline, the big thing that happened was Lottie and Natalie kind of butt heads to the point, well, it's not even them, it's more the people in their circles are being Lottie is super good at everything. She's kind of the one in charge. We should have a contest to see who's going to save us first. Our rational crew, the ones we see living in the present day, are kind of on the side of Natalie. This is insane. What are you doing? There's one girl. I don't remember her name because... have we even named her? Have we named this one? This, not even a new character, but a bigger background performance is now taking center stage in Lottie's defense. She's Lottie will catch any food. So it becomes a contest between Nat and Lottie to see who's going to bring in something to eat first, because, Lottie killed a bear and Lottie killed the birds that fell from the sky. And is that possible? Who knows? Probably not, but none of them have any luck. We actually see that Natalie finds her white moose that she saw last episode frozen in the ice, which I guess you could look at it in a couple ways. That must have been recently frozen, because if it's the same moose, that was very recently in their time scale. Or it's a big metaphor of her losing her grip or control on everything going on. Either way, they try to pull a moose out of a lake that's literally frozen at the top layer of the water. And I'm how is that possible? I don't know. I thought maybe it was going to be a metaphor for her finding fish, because in the present timeline, she's working with that girl, Lisa, who is at Lottie's cult, and she gets fish from her home because she goes home. And there are some interesting similarities being made between Natalie and Lisa. I'm not going to say it's perfect or executed great, and it's very interesting. Especially when you see Lisa going home for the protection of an animal, and seeing that her mom is trying to control her in a way she doesn't want. And that's I have a bad relationship with my parents too. I think I accidentally killed my stepfather or something. Is that what happened last season? The guy tripped and shot himself in the head, and Nat was really close to him. That's what I remember. But we just figure out we could maybe work together and save people. And we see that Natalie literally puts the girl's goldfish in her mouth and sneaks it out of the house. And I'm that's pretty cool. It's her opening up a bit. Juliette Lewis, interesting performer, always has been. But I don't know, some of the facial cues and tics that she makes in this episode, it's a lot, and I do appreciate it. Like, it's an extreme version of a character, and only Juliette Lewis could pull it off. She's doing some really heavy lifting and some weird stuff, and I appreciate all of it. But I do like that. I still don't think Natalie's gonna like completely buy into the Kool-Aid that's going on here. It's just that maybe she's going to start seeing there's more than one side to everything going on with Lottie. And Lottie in the past timeline, too, I forgot to mention because we spent so much time with Natalie and the Moose, she has a vision. So pretty much since the character has been on, in the forest. And she finds the plane that Laura Lee was in, and she finds a secret bunker underneath. I know there's been, theories about the bunker and stuff and, what's going on there. She goes to, an outlet mall or just, a regular mall and sees all her friends having a good time. And Laura Lee's like, you have to get out of here or you're going to die. You're going to freeze to death. And we have the actors come back, and they're pretty good to see. I like seeing them. I wonder if it's going to be like a ghost of Laura Lee haunting her kind of thing, where that's going to be her crux. I don't know how much time they had together in the first season. I can't really remember. But it didn't seem like it was going to be a huge driving force. I guess you could see Laura Lee as her Jackie, where Shauna has Jackie haunting her in her premonitions. You could also see that Lottie has Laura Lee. And you can also see that maybe Thaisa is going into some crazy route because every single tree that she stops at in her night walks goes into the symbol of the weird thing they're making. And that's cool. And guess what? Thais is the one that finds Javi, and he's just okay. That's fine. I don't know. I guess I was kind of expecting a bigger reveal when it came to Javi. What's he doing? Where has he been? Maybe he has been somewhere, and us just finding him now is leading him to doing something later. Maybe there's something in his mind. Maybe he is going to be a Wendigo kind of thing. I don't know if Wendigo is going to be the route they go, but we have started eating people, and people are starting to lose their mind a little bit. It could be a sign of Wendigoism, which is a Canadian mythology where if you eat somebody in the Canadian wilderness, you become a Wendigo. And, there's Marvel comics about it, so it wouldn't be surprising if a big show like this attempted it. Makes a lot of sense. Does it, though? Probably not where we're going. Just an interesting thing to explore. More time with the coach, and that's kind of cool. He's dying. He is so dying. We're killing him. We also spend more time seeing the supporting cast that don't have a big role, like the one girl who's really into Lottie and is pushing for this contest. The girl that's a junior and is studying the SATs. One of them is dying. Don't know which one. Maybe both, because we don't know what's happening there. No new reveals of who's alive in the present day. We do end this episode because Thaisa has a little bit of an episode, and she winds up in the middle of some dirt road somewhere, doesn't know where she is. Luckily, a friendly truck driver who is a fan of hers helps her get to town. They do something insane in that truck driver sequence. I don't understand why they did that, but there's a whole moment where we just focus in on the pen, which is the pen where you click it down, the lady undresses herself. But I'm just thinking the camera work on there was such a weird turn to focus in on the pen. It was so specific and does give me Raimi vibes. I've been saying that for the past couple of episodes again. Raimi vibes are coming up again. Very 90s. I guess it also is very 90s when this episode gives us the Alanis Morissette cover of No Return. I know because they were saying there's going to be a couple of covers. Was Florence and the Machine doing one for Just a Girl? I think they were. And this is the new one that they revealed to, that Alanis Morissette, Queen of the 90s, is going to be doing the No Return, which is the theme song. I don't think they played in the credits, but it was definitely playing in the sequence when Lottie was envisioning herself at the mall. And it sounded very dark and edgy, which is exactly the vibe that this show is going for. So I liked it a lot. It worked really well. I'm an Alanis Morissette fan. I'll never complain when she releases a new song in any capacity. I'm here for all of it. That was great. Give me more of that. And then just a couple other things happening in the present day. Shauna and Jeff tell their daughter everything. Well, it's more Shauna. And then she's like, well, okay, Mom, I guess I'm on your side now. Could be anything, who knows, but okay. Daughter seems to be on board with it. And I get it. It's kind of fun. Melanie Lynskey is given enough to do this episode. It's not really her story, which I completely understand why this episode's not really about her. But I think more than any of them, she's really playing like the sociopath really well, like really self-aware. There's a brokenness to Natalie and a scary, hard-edged part of Thaisa, and Misty's off doing like her own adventure. But when it comes to just being like, I'm aware of everything I'm doing, and the fact that I am not fazed by any of this, and I'm just gonna like joke around like, oh no, you're right, your father was actually the blackmailer. Like, oh right, we didn't. I thought it was Adam, but it wasn't Adam. We killed him by accident. That kind of stuff is just really good for Linsky because she plays innocent well, and you just don't imagine her to have those feelings. But now we have a house of complicit people, and the daughter's like, well, you're honest with me, I don't really give a shit what's going on now. My mom probably did something horrible, she's not telling me. Maybe it's more than just eating her best friend. Maybe there's something else we don't know. Probably the case, because we don't know either. We still have to figure out what's happening there. I guess if like we go do this show for like a couple more seasons, we could get out of the forest stuff and then see the young actors integrating into life again, and maybe some of them get killed that way or take their own life that way, because suicide kind of played a part in this episode, because we see Lisa was potentially committing suicide earlier. We know Nat was going to, and Travis definitely did. He's like the one fatality we know of this timeline. Interesting. And then Misty is just having a good time with that new guy of hers. It's just Christina Ricci and Elijah Wood doing an Ice Storm reunion, just running around, having fun, being silly guys. He made a lot of money because scaffolding fell on his head, so he can just do whatever he wants for a minute. There's a sequence where we do a side-by-side shot of them having the same night routine. They like the same type of musicals. This guy says he's not a fanatic. Do we think he is somebody larger in the world who is connected to any of this? Or is he just like a fan? Or just like a guy that's weird? I don't think they're going to do another thing where it's like like Adam, I mean, where, hey, he got curious and then he looked it up, but he was actually just looking to like have some fun. He just seems like he's like a Redditor who's like, this girl is literally me. I'm going to team up with her and we're going to travel and find stuff. So Misty is close to the same town as Natalie. Natalie was in the town, so I think they're going to meet up first. I'm going to imagine Thaisa and Shauna are going to be in the main town, but then we go see that Van is alive at the end. Lauren Ambrose, who is great. Looks like she's having fun. She is running a VHS store, I suppose, while you were streaming, which, okay, that doesn't sound like it's successful, because who would go there? And does that really feel like her character either, too? I don't know, but hey, that's a new area to explore, and that's where Thaisa goes, so they're going to team up. Maybe Shauna will get involved in some capacity, and we'll go from there. I do think we're headed to like a cataclysmic thing happening with Lottie's, like whatever going on. Maybe we know that Van's connected to Lottie in some capacity because she's starting to believe it in the past timeline. Anything's possible. We're headed into some interesting stuff. And this show, it's well made. Like, when they got that bigger budget, they got the better cameras, they got the better talent, everything is picked up and it looked better. And that's pretty impressive for a show like this. I hope it can stick the landing. I know it will. But, going into episode 5, kind of think we need to see some more interaction between our older actresses. Not that I hate where their journeys are going. It's just a lot of reliant on, well, the same kind of beats. So we connect them together again. Could be kind of fun to see. Good episode. Not the best of the season. We can only go up, though. And that's kind of impressive because the show's great, and that is going to do it for this review. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. No return. Good luck. I guess you could stream that new Alanis Morissette song, too. It was pretty good. I gotta say, it was pretty good.